Alright, so here are some tips for working from home. And the reason I wanted to put this video together is because I've had a bit of experience from working from home already before all of this happened. So I wanted to share a few tidbits from my few years that I've been doing it already. And there are 5 tips. And the first tip is to have some kind of routine, to have a daily routine, so that you start every day the same way, because we're all creatures of habit, and it's great to have a routine, because one thing that is very easy to forget is having, a set start time, say, and then you find yourself just having a bit more of a lie-in one day and getting up later and later, and then having, brunch at 11 and then you're not working till 12, which can be great. Maybe keep that for the weekend if you're trying to have some kind of structure for your working week. So my tip is to maybe keep that routine for the working week as you would have done in the office. So maybe if you're working 9 till 5 in the office, you do the 9 to 5 at work as well. Something as simple as that. In terms of routine as well, you could look at how you spend your first 60 minutes of your day. Maybe that could be a routine that you now have where you're looking after yourself. The routine, the schedule, the plan. Have a plan, have a schedule, have deadlines, have time limits. Give yourself as much time as you want to take on any given task, as opposed to just working until something's done. I've found that if you give yourself a certain amount of time to do a task, you'll generally get more done than the other way, where you give yourself as much time as you want and then time just kind of marches on and you find yourself distracted or procrastinating, and not getting anywhere, or not doing anywhere near as much as you could have done if you had the routine, right? So one is plan it, routine, schedule, all that good stuff, okay? Tip number 1 for working from home. The second one, but the reason I'm looking down is just looking at my notes. But the second tip I have for working from home is to have a cold shower. This is a new habit that I'm forming since going into this stage of the outbreak. And what I've found is this is my hard thing that I'm doing first thing in the morning. This is the frog that I'm eating before breakfast. It's about training yourself to do the hardest things first thing in the morning. That thing that you don't want to do, get it done first thing in the morning, because when it comes to our brain, blood flow and everything, good morning, Shivani. When it comes to, or good afternoon even, when it comes to blood flow, we are more logical. We're more likely to get the hard stuff done earlier in the day than it is in the later or latter parts of the day, purely because of the way the brain works in terms of how blood flow goes to the front of the head, the logic center of your head when you're awake early in the morning, or in the earlier parts of the day, and then during the latter parts of the day, that blood flow generally shifts to the central part of the head, which is more of your emotional center, and that's when it's going to be easier for you to talk yourselves out of things, find yourself feeling a bit sleepier in the afternoons, and generally having more reactions to the emotions that come up, and therefore that's when you have the snacking and the energy lulls and all that kind of stuff that you have typically in the afternoon. So tip number 2 is not just have the cold shower. Your cold shower could be something else. It's about having or doing rather the hard things as early as you can, so that you've got it out of the way, you've got it off your to-do list, so that then anything else you do during the rest of the day is then a bonus, okay? In terms of tips for working from home. Tip number 3 is to get dressed. So especially now when a lot of us are working from home and potentially doing meetings, online meetings and everything, that can be a great driver for helping you to get dressed and put your face on and stuff if you need to. But generally, getting dressed for work as if you were going to work, your place of work, is going to be much better in terms of the mindset that you're going to have. And it again comes down to that kind of routine of, okay, I'm at home, but I'm getting into the mindset of, okay, I'm going to work, so I'm going to put my shirt and tie on or whatever it is that you wear, so that you're not associating, good morning Emma, good afternoon Emma, so that you're not associating wearing your onesie or your PJs or whatever with working. It's actually about getting yourself into the right frame of mind so that you're ready to plow on with your work. All right, so if you've just joined us, this is tips for working from home that I've picked up over the years, since I've been doing this since 2014. So that's tip number 3, get dressed. All right, especially like, you hear so many stories of where people were dressed from the waist up, but they still had their PJs and their slippers on underneath the table. What about if you get asked to stand up or whatever, right? So that's tip number 3, get dressed if you're working from home, as if you were working in the office. Tip number 4 is set your environment up to win. What I mean by that is set up the environment so that it's clean and tidy. The bedroom is not where you should be working from. I don't use the word should very often, but one thing you definitely shouldn't be doing is working from your bedroom, sitting your laptop in bed, because that's not what the bedroom's for. It's a place of relaxation, right? Get yourself out of the bedroom, get to maybe the same place that you would work every day. It could be the home office, could be the kitchen table, wherever it is, but set yourself up so that you can win. And what I mean by winning is distraction-free, clean, tidy, because if your environment is tidy and clean, then you've got a much better chance of working in a more comfortable environment, okay? And when you're comfortable, you're then going to work better generally. And the 5th tip for working from home that I have for you today is to take lots of regular breaks, okay? It's very easy to just sit there for 6 hours and realize then that the time's gone, 2, that you're sitting in the dark, 3, you've not drank any water, 4, you're achy all over. So one little technique I use is setting a timer for say 25 minutes, and in that 25 minutes you're focused, you've got no distractions, you're working on whatever task it is you're doing, and then when that timer goes, you then give yourself 5 minutes to do whatever. So just get up, physically get away from your desk, your computer, whatever you're working on for 5 minutes, go and do something completely different, and then come back and set that timer for 25 minutes again, and just do lots of those, as many as it takes for you to get your job done, okay? That's the Pomodoro technique in terms of the timing. So it's 25 on, 5 minutes off, okay? It's like interval timing for your working as opposed to interval timing for your training and exercise, all right? So they're the main tips I have in terms of how they have helped me to work better from home. In summary, it was 1, have some kind of daily routine for yourself. 2 was have a cold shower, and more specifically do the hard things first thing in the morning. 3 was set up yourself to win by getting dressed. That's what it was. 4thly was set up your environment to win, set up a nice clean and tidy working environment. And number 5 was take lots of regular breaks. All right, I hope they are of help to you when you're working from home. If you have any other tips that you think are helpful, then drop them below this video. But thanks for tuning in.